for our host. Appreciate our host being here today. Appreciate all of you being here today. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules. We're going through the district. We started off in North Branch last night. We're just going through the district, coming to places that sell these really nice weapons right here, and talking about the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment is one of the things I see a couple of guys have put into service here. Important part of the Constitution, and making sure that we protect that part of the Constitution. And the Second Amendment wasn't just built for going duck hunting. It was made to have an armed citizen. And I like to think one of the things that the Japanese did not invade us during World War II was because we had an armed citizen. And that's one of the important things that we have. I'd like to point out just a couple differences between my opponent and I. When he was in Congress, he tried to ban handguns. He tried to regulate ammunition. And he's already come out and said that he would like to reinstitute the assault ban weapon. So I think that's a wrong way to go. I have an AR-15. I'd like to keep it. So it's very important that we have the ability to do that. We get a lot of questions, about one more law, that, we got to put more laws. Well, they talk about the Aurora, Colorado shooting. One more law would not stop it. I know what would have stopped it. A guy in the audience that had a weapon to be able to defend themselves. Had to put an end to that real fast. So that's one of the things I think is important. All laws do is take guns away from law-abiding citizens. Because guess what? Crooks don't care about laws. They're going to take the weapons any way they can get them. All it does is take the weapons away from law-abiding citizens. Take a look at Chicago. Chicago has one of the most onerous amounts of gun bans, and yet it's the murder capital of the country, using handguns. So all we're doing is taking away handguns or taking weapons away from law-abiding citizens and leave us defenseless against the bad guys. What I'd like to do is introduce Larry Cravaack. Larry is he's Gun Owners of America. Before I introduce him, I just want to tell you one more difference between my opponent and myself. We have an A rating with the NRA, and was endorsed, and my opponent has an F. NRA doesn't hand out Fs too often, but when they do, they're for a good reason. Larry's with Gun Owners of America, and they're a tough group to get a letter grade from. They really watch the legislation. And Larry's were offered to come into our district and go around with them to talk about how important the Second Amendment is. And so we appreciate you coming all the way around. And he said, "This is a big district." I said, "Yeah, it's the second largest district east of the Mississippi. We're bigger than 11 states. So welcome to the 8th. I'd like to have you, and I'll let you go ahead."
We've been driving all day in the 8th, and I don't think we'll ever get out of it. Our job as lobbying in Congress got a lot easier when we had folks like your congressman come to Congress last time, and we sure want to see them stay, because there's a lot of things that need to be done, laws that need to be taken off the books that were put there when they never should have been, shall not be infringed, really ought to mean something. One of the bills that's been moving now would involve being able to take your carry permit, which you might have here in this state, and going to any neighboring state, because they all have a permit system, and you'd be good to go. You'd have to observe any differences in their laws, but you wouldn't have to go to a test, another permit. It would be very much the same as your driver's license. And the nice thing about the bill that is hopefully going to come out of the Senate, the House has already acted, but the Senate bill has something we especially like. It says that the 4 states that don't even require a permit, Vermont, Wyoming, Alaska, Arizona, would have their driver's license suffice for concealed carry permit. Oh, you're from Vermont. Well, here we'll go ahead and carry concealed. So that's the way it ought to be. That's why we call it the constitutional carry, because that's what the Constitution really is talking about. A permit, while it's an improvement over a ban, still is an infringement. And we're happy to be able to work with your congressman, because these are not easy things to get through. Even in a Republican Congress, there's a lethargy. There's a, well, let's not rock the boat. And we need people who are willing to rock the boat. And you rocked the boat real good last time in 2010, and we're hoping to keep it rocking. By the way, I have to admire one of the wonders of the world. I had no idea there was such a need for bike paths. But driving around up here in the north, there are always bike paths up there, and there's just nobody around. Nobody on them. We're almost the only car on the road, let alone bikes. And apparently that was one of the monuments constructed by a former congressman here. And I'm so glad that you're no longer making pyramids for the people of this district. I think we have enough bike paths to last forever.
I like ATV trails with snowmobiles.
That would make a lot more sense, because I can see people using that, but bike paths not so much. So we have these control freaks that are always trying to do good for us, in spite of we're not agreeing with it, but they know what's better for us. And that's the whole mentality of gun control. And I think we're starting to break that. I think we're seeing a movement in the last election. I think we're going to see it, hopefully, in this election, a movement more and more toward a return to constitutional government, where people in Congress won't have that much to do, because if they stuck to the 18 things that are in Article 1, Section 8 that the Congress is supposed to be doing, and it wouldn't be that big a burden for the rest of us that are carrying the weight back here paying the taxes. So you do yourself a favor by making sure that Jim Cravaack gets back in Congress, because that's where I know he's heading, and we're hoping that we'll have some more to work with just like this.
Thanks again, y'all.